You have to be careful about making a weird show or watching a weird show.
Hello, this is Greg Smalley on Pod 366, a Weird Movies podcast. Joined this week, as I often am, by the baffling Giles Edwards.
Hello, everybody.
And there he is. And today we are simply going to go over the week's news and new releases with some sort of exciting stuff premiering this week. Some of it available for you to watch immediately. Some of it not so much, but stuff you can look for in the future. And here's our lineup for discussion. You can see that, I assume, Giles?
I see 6 pictures here.
Okay.
Yeah.
6 items, one of which is a big omnibus-y type item. Did they just disappear? There's
a famous fella.
There it is, yes. That's the one we're going to start with, a sort of placeholder picture for this one. Can you describe to the folks what we're looking at there?
Sure, we're looking at a rather happy-looking older fella. I'm going to guess he's in his 80s, white-haired, tuxedoed, big grin, and he's holding a statuette of what is that, a winged lion or something like that?
Yeah.
Some sort of famous animal shape for a particular event, and this is a face familiar to probably many of our viewers and readers and listeners. He is German.
Yeah.
And
that is indeed a winged lion. It is a golden.
Oh, yes.
And it is, in fact, the golden lion that Werner Herzog was honored with. It's an honorary award, so he was honored for his career at the Venice Film Festival. He picked up that award just yesterday, and we're very happy for Mr. Herzog to be so honored.
Indeed.
Let's see. I don't think I'm gonna bother to read his comments out loud. They were, what one would expect. I'm honored to get this. I'm not done. Announced the projects he's currently working on, which includes that animated adaptation of his own novel, which will be his first animation he's currently working on, and other projects, a documentary and some voice work for other people. So Herzog, in his 80s, keeping busy and getting honored. He coincidentally the award was given to him by Francis Ford Coppola, who I think is even older than Werner Herzog. So pretty cool for those two to share the same stage.
Yeah, not too bad. So September 5th. Oh, Herzog's birthday is coming up.
Oh, well, that should be
83.
It should be a national holiday.
I second that.
Let's also, though, talk about what is screening at Venice Film Festival. I identified some movies of interest that are coming there. Giles, did you have a chance to look at the lineup at all?
Unfortunately not. I got delayed at a diner, ending up in conversation with a professional gambler from the Virgin Islands, which actually is true. So I will rely on your scout work for that. Also, The menu for the Venice Film Festival was not easy to quickly peruse.
Yeah, it's not. You have to click into each section, and then they don't describe the films. So yes, it's not easy. Well, I think the big title that is headlining and is of interest both to weird movie fans and to more general audiences is Bugonia.
Oh, yeah.
Bugonia from Yorgos Lanthimos, starring, bringing back Emma Stone, his normal favorite actress, and Jesse Plemons, who hopefully is a new member of his regular troupe going forward in an adaptation. Well, they say it's a loose adaptation, although reading the plot, it sounds almost like it's a literal adaptation of the Korean cult film Save the Green Planet, about some crazy people who kidnap an executive played here by Stone, and believing she is an alien about to bring about an invasion of the world. So that debuted just about an hour before we, probably 2 hours before we went on air, 2 to 3 hours before we went on air. Early reviews are already out. From what I can see, they are positive. However, they are leading me to believe that perhaps this will be more conventional than Lanthimos's last couple of movies. Looking at the Variety review, they say the director is at the top of his visionary nihilistic game in a movie about what's happening to the world, but nowhere in the review do they use any words like weird, surreal, bizarre. So thinking that it might go more back towards the sort of semi-exaggerated realistic tone of The Favorite, rather than some of the crazier movies that he's been making lately and that we particularly treasure. However, it does seem to be getting good press overall.
Hey, I think I may have found a link. I was looking at the end of the festival here. An Azerbaijani production has just caught my eye.
Okay, well, that's possible, Giles, that we will be mentioning that one. I don't know how many Azerbaijani topics there are, but before doing that, let me mention one other relatively big one, not of interest to most people outside of our circuit, but that is Megadoc, the documentary on behind-the-scenes documentary on Megalopolis, is premiering at Venice, as we say. It is by, oh gosh, I really should remember the name. Oh gosh, I can't find it on this set. It's Figgis, isn't it, that did it? Yeah, I think it's Figgis that did it. Yeah, that is going to be, it'll be interesting to see how that's distributed. Since the movie wasn't really a huge hit, it's hard to see a making of movie about it getting strong distribution, like a theatrical release or anything. It seems likely to be something that would be bundled with the eventual physical release, which has not been put out there despite the movie being a year old now. So I guess we'll see. It probably show up on VOD on its own, I would imagine, very soon, since it doesn't have any real theatrical prospects. It'll also be interesting to see what kind of line he takes. I'm sure it won't be a hatchet job, but on the other hand, I can't really, I don't think, be an honest documentary and be, 100% just positive, booster because of the reported chaos on the set. So it's going to be probably somewhere between those two extremes. It'll be interesting to see what role he takes with that. Let me mention one more, which I don't think will be weird, but is a movie that's going to be of interest to people. Guillermo del Toro's version of Frankenstein is premiering. That will, of course, be probably very easy to see, considering del Toro's fan base and his reach, and the fact that it's pretty accessible material. Just another adaptation of Frankenstein. Certainly be very interesting to see what del Toro does with that. He's a, fantastic fantasy filmmaker. So
yes.
Getting into the three movies that are kind of reaches, though. One is an Azerbaijani movie. Can you pronounce the title of this movie you found, Giles?
I will try. Bozluja Zutbi.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. I don't know how you got the pronunciation down.
I that may not be at all correct,
No,
but that is my guess.
I don't think it's at all correct. Have I stopped sharing the screen?
Yes, I just see. There we go.
Okay, now I'm sharing a different screen. Can you see it?
Yes, I see a
This
lot
is
of
the one
red.
that caught your eye, probably because of this still, which you might want to describe.
All right. This is in its way, I think it's sort of photorealistic as it were. However, the color gradient has been flipped, reversed, changed, altered considerably. This is looks like some sort of terrain, maybe at a base of a cliff, leading down to dirt or sandy form, and a puddle of really, really vibrant yellow.
Mhm.
And beside that circular, very small body of water looks to be a person casting their silhouette on whatever that ground is nearby. And looking at a number of other stills on IMDb, it seems that this is sort of the general visual motif.
Mhm. It's a vibrant red with a yellow and black.
Yeah.
The title translates apparently as Sermon to the Void. It's Azerbaijani, shot in Mexico and Turkey, it looks like. I will read let's see, we have a director's statement. I thought I had a synopsis, but I don't. We only have, well, there's a very short synopsis. Synopsis says, as the world comes to an end, Shah Ismail embarks on a quest for the water of life. A director's statement, I've never had a serious reason to begin this film or any of my other films. Nothing in this world has ever compelled me, encouraged me, or inspired me to make cinema. It's only that sometimes an unexpected and inner urgency arises within me, one so strong it refuses to let me stay still. So, interesting distinction there on inspiration. He says, to this day, I still don't know who these characters are. I don't know why they enter the film or why they leave. I can't find their reflection in real life either. They simply dwell in the vastness of the desert. They are not the kind of figures one would encounter on a journey with any intention of return. After all, isn't the true self we seek hidden in a place entirely without color, without taste, without story, in the endlessness of the desert? And when a soul has once tasted the force of pure witnessing, isn't embracing the curse of the desert as one's homeland the truest sermon to the void? So,
It looks like this is part of a series of sermons, being the Zutbe, the second part of the title. Previous two movies were Kuslara Zutbe and Balaklara Zutbe.
okay.
So he is dropping down sermons to void, previously birds, and also fishes.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, sounds like an apocalyptic, experimental, existential kind of experimental film.
Fun, fun.
Lots of fun, strong visuals. Two other movies that might be, that one is almost certainly going to be weird and of interest, might be, have limited distribution prospects, though, I would guess. So we would see about that one. Playing at Venice helps it out. Another one, this one mainly because it's from Mamoru Hosoda, the anime guy who has gotten close to being weird before. We have a little still of this. I'm not going to have Giles describe it for time reasons. It's just an anime still of two anime characters, one with a sword, one with a bow, kind of ambiguous as to whether they are medieval type figures or modern figures. The synopsis of this one I will read. It's called Scarlet, and the synopsis reads, Scarlet, a medieval-era sword-fighting princess on a dangerous quest to avenge the death of her father, is the protagonist of this powerful, time-bending animated adventurer. After failing in her mission and finding herself fatally injured in a surreal world, she encounters an idealistic young man from our present day who not only helps her to heal, but shows her the possibility of a future free from bitterness and rage. So, hard to say. Has potential to be weird. Probably an interesting film. Hosoda's films are generally of pretty high quality.
Mhm.
but tend towards more Japanese style fantasy than what we might consider truly weird. And the last one I wanted to highlight is right here.
Ooh.
It's called Orfeo. It is an Italian, another adaptation of the Orpheus legend, very avant-garde in style. I'll let you briefly describe that image if you want, Giles, because it is kind of striking and baroque.
All right, so we got a wall section with the silhouette of a man on the right-hand side, looking onto this large portal with a curved underside, which I guess makes me think it's more window than door. And it's done sort of Art Deco stained glass with gold tones and blue luminescent tinting, and dominating, indeed, taking up almost all of this stylized, cool-looking stained glass deco frame is a woman's face. Full lips done up with makeup. We can just see the traces of her upper teeth and the expression of the slightly open mouth she's got. Her eyes stare straight ahead at us, and they are surrounded by glittery silver perfume before the shadow that is striking the top left diagonal half of this cuts off a bit more of the color detail that we might expect, but I think I can just barely make out some prominent eyebrows above that eye makeup there. So all told, this is a very neat looking picture using a limited and indeed kind of in a way understated palette to make a very overstated image.
Yeah, blue and gold.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's she's got like sparkly eyeshadow on.
Yeah.
Probably Persephone could be some kind of spirit. Another one, because it's an avant-garde type production based on an old Greek myth, probably has limited distribution in the U.S. So no idea if we would have the opportunity to see that or not. But we shall see. Wanted to make you aware of its existence. Let me get back to the rest of them, because now we're going to go into a movie that is getting some distribution, despite having very niche appeal.
Well, it attracted one person, I believe, if you're talking about what I think you're going to talk about, and he was famous enough to make his dream come true.
Well, let's see. Is this the one you thought I was talking about?
Yeah, I'm seeing some hmm.
Describe this rather
Every,
interesting image.
very gritty. There's a low paneled wall of probably formerly mostly iron and rivets. Above it seems to be a smeared but see-through glass thing, looking at a very large lower leg section of I'm going to guess a woman, certainly in women's shoes, has a sort of, we can see the end of a drapey, gauzy kind of garment. There might be some sort of chaise or chaise longue behind her. But the foreground is also of particular, if drabber interest. There is a rather sort of strangely proportioned fellow on the far right wearing a tall sort of top hat style thing and a dark cloak. Seems to have, is very squat, but seems to have rather long arms for his general size. He's standing what looks like near what looks like a doorway to perhaps this item beyond the smeared glass, above which are at least one, two, some Roman numerals that, if put together, look like they're 17 and XVII. And on the far left is a pillar looking thing that I guess is just providing the other side of the frame. And above, interestingly to me, it looks like this is possibly a subterranean room, and we can see some shafts of light from a grate on the very far right of the upper corner there.
That's true. And it all has a visual style that's very reminiscent of the Quay Brothers,
It does.
which is interesting and revelatory, it turns out, because it is the Quay Brothers. It's their version of the Hourglass Sanitorium, which they which was filmed under the name the Hourglass Sanatorium. It is now going under the Sanatorium Under the Sign of the Hourglass title. It is it's important to us for many reasons. It's the same source material, of course, as a canonically weird movie, done in the style of these two, who have two canonically weird movies. Looks a lot in particular like their Street of Crocodiles, stretched to I believe the running time is 76 minutes. So this will be in theaters limited, but on the website of their distributor, Kim Stem, I can tell you it is playing at Film Forum in New York. It's playing Cleveland, Maitland, Florida for some reason, Los Angeles, California starting next week, St. Louis, Cambridge, Massachusetts at the Brattle where Alex Kittle works, Portland, Philadelphia, Albuquerque, Roxy Theater, which is in San Francisco, St. Louis again at another location, Boulder, Honolulu, Columbus, and Iowa City in October before ending its run. So halfway decent for a product of this sort. And then I assume very quickly thereafter it will be on VOD and undoubtedly on physical media. It is being presented by Christopher Nolan, so that probably helps its prospects a little bit. There was a clip. Did you see the clip of the film?
I did see the clip, and
what do you think of it?
well, it looks like they're fusing live action with stop motion, which is always interesting to observe. They have this great gritty filter wash over the live action bit that they showed us here. And there was, I'm kind of curious what the overall tone might be, because there's a maid figure, I guess she works at this sanatorium probably. And the way she sort of fondles the peephole before the gentleman who's with her kneels to gaze inside was more than suggestive.
Yeah, it was a very dreamlike little clip with that music also that you associate with the Quay Brothers, which is kind of dissonant, avant-garde, droning classical music that sounds like it came out of Czechoslovakia just after the end of the First World War or Second World War. Sometime in there when everybody had high anxiety. Very dreamlike. They got the stop motion animation going. They've got the dolls, the creepy dolls with the eyes, very reminiscent of Street of Crocodiles. And the kind of couple look like servants who are reminiscent of Institute Benjaminta, their live action film. So it seems to have all the elements that you would associate with a Quay Brothers film. The clip we saw was very nonlinear and dreamlike. So that sort of like Street of Crocodiles. So it's definitely going to be weird. It'll be interesting if there's some more structure there. They're taking a different tone on the source material than Haas's live action adaptation of it, which itself was very surreal, but this is even probably more dreamlike because it's by being set in that Quay Brothers stop motion animated world. Definitely something I think most of our viewers are going to put high on their to see lists.
Yeah, I'll whip up the Apocrypha outline right now for that.
Gotta go ahead and get that started right now. Okay. So yeah, that's something people are definitely going to be looking for. Anything left to discuss about this one?
No, and I imagine we have put forward as many guesses as are appropriate. Looking around at the screenings, I suppose I might be double checking to see just how far Cambridge, Massachusetts is from me and see if I can muster the will to make that trek. But alas, nothing in the Tri-City area. Oh well.
Yeah, well, yes, it's not going to theaters everywhere, but good luck. I might be able to get it. I will definitely get a screener by the end of the year because it'll be on the awards lists.
Oh
I
yeah.
could maybe get a screener before then. It's probably not really necessary to preview it this early before people can see it, though, which is why one reason why I'm just going to wait on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the few people who are going to get to see it in theaters, uh, they are blessed, but they don't really need my encouragement. I think the people that are going to see it already know they're going to see it.
Yeah.
Um, but this one is something that you will be able to see almost anywhere, and I'll be seeing it next week, I think.
All right.
Do you want to describe this poster?
Sure, it's green. It's got, I don't know, at least like six different kinds of green going on it. There's a squat fella, a bit mutated. He's got rags on. His top of his head looks a bit swollen. Deep set red eyes. His left forearm there seems to be pulsing or bulging with some sort of internal muscle goo gone bad. He's brandishing a mop and he looks like he is ready to take care of business.
Yeah, and he has his name there. He's the Toxic Avenger.
Yeah.
And let's see, we got some more information. There are a bunch of names of cast members in it, some of which are a little interesting. Special guests, Elijah Wood and Kevin Bacon. I think Elijah Wood is also a producer. He
Oh,
produces a lot of
odd things.
yes, odd movies. And the star of the Toxic Avenger is perhaps the most exciting bit of casting news, somebody that you really wouldn't expect to show up in this movie, or I certainly wouldn't expect him to show
I
up.
wouldn't do it.
And yet, when you say that he's playing this character, it seems like perfect casting to me. Who is that guy, John?
That's Peter Dinklage.
It's Peter Dinklage playing the Toxic Avenger. Um, yeah, and so this is a remake, of course, of the Trauma movie. It looks like they are definitely, although it looks more perhaps polished in the footage we've seen than a Trauma movie usually is in terms of like the camera work and the settings and so forth. It does seem like they are dedicated to keeping that spirit of bizarre and absurd gore alive.
Yeah, it was fun to watch the trailer because it's setting up a story about a deadbeat father and his son, a sort of creepy corporate thing going on. It's like, oh, okay, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden you see someone get smacked across the face and lose the front of their face. And so I was like, all right, good. I was sufficiently reassured.
Yes, and from the clips I've seen, and they have shared a lot of clips of this, it's been in production for a year. I don't know why it took them so long to release it. I think it's been completed for a while, and they took it to some festivals, and but there's been a big buzz about it. Um, Clips I've seen do suggest that it's a bit more sedate and better scripted and more satirical. There seemed to be taking some satirical aim at the um, healthcare system in the United States, for one thing.
Mhm.
Um, so it's sort of like a polished and, to my mind, likely improved version of the Toxic Avenger. Although I think there are some audiences that are probably going to miss that trauma grittiness, and we'll see if they have the car crash that has appeared in just about every single trauma movie ever made. Um, it would be nice if they threw that Easter egg in for people. We shall see. It wouldn't match the look of the film, though. Maybe
No.
they
Could be
recreate.
playing on a television in a scene, though. There's all kinds of.
Would be, yeah, yeah. So yeah, Lloyd Kaufman sold out and made a went for
Yes,
the
yes.
money and made a mainstream version of Toxic.
Mainstream, yes, with the phrase "uncut in theaters, buy tickets now, shut the up." Yep,
Yes,
there's some mainstreaming going on there.
it's the mainstream has changed. At the time,
Yeah.
Lloyd made this back in the 80s. This was a drive-in fare, and now it's something that you can expect to get a wide release. And I will also say it's like 86% positive at Rotten Tomatoes, so
Good.
it's not that alienating. I'm actually kind of excited to see this. I think it could, done correctly, it could strike the perfect balance of including the things that made trauma films charming while improving on them for a more accessible experience. How's that?
Yeah.
But we shall see. I will report on it next week. Any further thoughts on this?
No, no, looking forward to see how they handle this artistic gem
Hmm.
that they're updating for the modern viewer.
Did you see the original, Giles?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm familiar with the cartoon that came out briefly in must have been the late 80s, early 90s that had that character, but I am a bit undereducated still when it comes to trauma, having really only seen Tromeo and Juliet.
Okay. Well, this might be a good introduction. There are, in our remaining time, we have three physical media releases to discuss, none of which are debuts. They're all re-releases. This one, however, is of a canonically weird movie, and it's one of the rarer ones. So, Giles, you want to describe this quick still?
Yes, there's a fella standing in front of a spotlight, in front of closed burgundy curtains. He's got a microphone in front of him, blue suit, shimmery red tie. You can tell from the visual distortion he's doing some excited kind of jazz hands, which matches the enthusiasm on his face as he is announcing something very, very exciting to presumably a room full of, I don't know, buyers or investors or whoever is sitting there, hopefully is as excited as this guy is about whatever he's talking about.
All right, so this is the Blu-ray release, the first Blu-ray release of I Can See You, the very low budget psychedelic horror movie, slow burn, but ends in a great deal of surrealism. Its tagline is a psychedelic campfire tale, and it's about a guy who's very nearsighted who goes on a camping trip with his advertising company buddies, who are a bunch of, to be frank, assholes, and he kind of has a psychotic break while doing this. And that still we are seeing there is from the most memorable point in the film, which is, I think, about at the midpoint or a little afterwards. There is a sudden music video that he sees, which is very, very memorable.
Wonderful.
And that can be found on YouTube. You can see, I think, the entire music video. It's very cool in context to see it. The director says he was inspired by a similar scene in Performance where Miles, the Mick Jagger performance. Some specs on this. The bonus features mostly come from the previous DVD release. It's newly restored. There is one brand new commentary with director Graham Resnick. There also include the original commentary. There's a booklet with a critic article. There are some interviews, a podcast, 2009 podcast recording with Ty West, which is rare. Behind the scenes featurette compiled by Larry Fessenden, our sort of old friend who Giles has spoken to. And there's also his Graham Resnick's 3D feature. The Viewer is also on this set. So pretty cool for any fans of that film. Moving on in the short time we have remaining, there are two kind of films that are kind of similar. Giles, quickly describe this still for us, if you will.
All right, coastal, rainbow, some seagulls, and I mean, I want to say it looks like a beachside, but it looks like a whole bunch of precision cut geometric slabs of concrete instead of rocks or sand.
Okay. And it's a rainbow. It is from A Warm Water Under a Red Bridge, which had already been released. Not sure why it's being re-released so soon. It was last released in 2003. Here it is again. The movie itself seems like it's going to be pretty surreal. It's I believe this is a Japanese movie. A salaryman romances a village woman who has a river inside her. It's from Shôhei Imamura. Shôhei Imamura? I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, but of course he was the director of the Canonically Weird, The Pornographers. So here is a later movie from him. This one in color from the 80s. Sounds very surreal. Something I definitely need to check out. Was not available in the West for a long time, but has a pretty good reputation among those who've seen them. And then this last one, if I can get it up, let's see, we have just about a minute remaining. There it is. Quickly describe that image.
We got a blank wall with image projected on it, and there's a fella by what looks like the projector there kind of looking at us. The projected image in this drab wall room, wherever they are, is a fella in a sort of semi-tracksuit top, slacks. As an Asian gentleman with a short mop of hair there. And the way his hands are positioned suggests they might be bound together, but not in more in a procedural way than a violent way.
And this is from a Chinese movie called Only the River Flows from 2023. Plot synopsis: a Chinese policeman questions whether they have the right suspect in a murder as he struggles with nightmares that suggest madness. And I noted about it that more than one critic has described this film as enigmatic, which I think tells you something about the kind of art housey pseudo weirdness, or perhaps real genuine weirdness that's going on here. But that's something maybe to take a flyer on. We're almost done, so I want to remind everybody to like, subscribe, buy our book, follow Giles on Twitter/X. Any final words, Giles, before we cut off here?
No, thank you kindly for listening, and keep weird out there.
All right, see you all next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Cheers.
Weird? Yeah, I guess that is the word for it. Weird.